you wish part of this do you wish was the fight was in Ohio?
I don't. And the reason why is because, you know, I've said before, my dad and I, we've been in Las Vegas for 2 years now. When we moved out there, our goal was to begin fighting at the MGM and do exactly like Floyd Mayweather did. Make that our home, make that the place to be on fight night when you're watching Showtime Shawn Porter, you know. So we'll get another opportunity to go home against another and get a fight back home when it's possibly bigger and you know, worth more, you know. But this fight is happening where it's supposed to happen at the MGM.
Go ahead. You know, can you help people understand, because a lot of people think, you know, by conceding to the weight and the rehydration clause, you guys are giving such a at a disadvantage, giving them an advantage. Just help people understand why you and your father thought this was a good opportunity.
We just know it's right. You know, we knew that, you know, this is what it would take to make this fight, and this is the fight that we want. You know? Big fight, and I've said this too. You know, I don't look at 144 like it's a catchweight. I look at it like it's a weight class. I have to make 144. I have to be a professional and make weight. Simple as that. That's my job, you know. So what is 3 more pounds? That was your job, and you were making the kind of money that we're going to be making tonight. You do the same thing.
Shawn, you lost your IBF title to Kell Brook. Is this the right fight in the right direction to get you back into the welterweight division?
Oh yeah, most definitely. This kid has got one of the biggest names in boxing, and you know, obviously after defeating him, I look to have the same. You know, but along the way, you know, we had our fight with Kell Brook, didn't go the way we wanted. Just slowed us down just a little bit. You know, like my dad said, man, it was a breakdowns precede breakthroughs. You know, so you know, this is what's supposed to happen now. Adrien Broner and Shawn Porter.
When you guys were amateurs,
Marcus Madonna was able to solve the problem with Adrien Broner. Do you have the right set of skills to solve that problem?
I do. I know that I do, and I don't think it's going to be done the same way. We have different styles, and he did what he thought he knew he should do, and it ended up working out for him. We're going to do the same thing our way. We're going to do it the Porter way.
If you land a victory, do you think you can get that Mayweather fight in September?
I mean, I think I could. I don't know if he'll fight me. You know, I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to hold up my career until he makes a decision, you know. But, you know, everyone has said that, you know, Adrien Broner fights a lot like Floyd Mayweather. If Shawn Porter can beat Adrien Broner, he's probably the one who can beat Floyd Mayweather. So, of course, that could be in my future, and I've looked at the option.
When you're an Ohio fighter, what does this fight mean?
It means everything, you know. I think for me, you know, Ohio's in my heart, Cleveland's in my heart, Northeast Ohio's in my heart, but this fight to me is bigger than that. This fight is a world championship fight, even though it's not for a championship. You know, this fight just is bigger than Cleveland and Cincinnati. This is something that the world's gonna look at and remember.
When you guys were amateurs, did you envision fighting Adrien as a pro? It's
so funny. He's a few years younger than me, and he's always been a lot smaller than me. You know, he finished up his career in the amateurs at 132, 141. I finished at 165. So even at that point, there was never a thought of fighting Adrien Broner. But obviously, when he moved up to 147 and got that WBA belt, it was like, okay, if he's staying here, he can't just, you know, you can't just open the door to 147 and not come see me, you know. So about that time.
Should you get past Adrien? What do you think Broner has to worry about most in terms of going in with you? Because he knows you.
All of it. All of it.
All of it.
All of it. From the speed to the quickness to the power, the punch output, the body shots, all of it.
What do you think about his usual bravura that he does, like the dancing and all that? Is that something that bothers you?
It doesn't bother me, you know. I've just always been like this. It's not me, but I appreciate it. It's funny to look at. It's exciting, you know. He's an entertainer, and that's what this sport needs.
Should you get past him, is there a chance that you consider fighting Kell Brook again?
Oh yeah, that fight, you know, if they want it, we want it. That's a no-brainer.
Shawn, would you want Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer as well. I've said that. I've been saying I wanted Floyd, you know, even before I did have the IBF title. I think even more now, I'm more ready for that fight than I was back then, you know.
Lots of people.
Yeah, I think after, you know, fighting Adrien Broner, who has that same similar style, that, you know, it's a good experience for getting to fight Adrien.
Shawn, excited about your fight. What do people tell you when you walk around Vegas, or people from home?
It's unbelievable, man. This fight has become a blessing to boxing, a blessing to myself, my family, my team. I get a whole lot of kick his A.
You've been in the ring with him before. What did you remember the most being in the ring with him? I know he spoke a little bit about it.
Yeah, we did. We brought him into one of our camps for maybe a week, and we got some rounds in, and it was just, you know, simple work. You know, nothing crazy happened. You know.
How recent was it?
2012. It's been a little while. And then we did the same thing right before we fought Alfonso Gomez. We did a couple rounds with him, and it was the same. You know, just easy work.
Can you take anything from it, or is it still vivid in your mind where you can remember something?
No, actually, it's not. It's not. You know, obviously I have to think about it, and then it becomes more vivid. But I think for the most part, I'm relying on my team to, you know, give me direction on this fight, and then, you know, obviously doing a little film study myself to see, you know, what he's gonna have.
You said Pacquiao Mayweather. You would be better than Pacquiao Mayweather. Why do you say that, and what were your thoughts on that fight? Considering you saying that,
you know what, I honestly felt that fight was a great fight. Watching that fight and being a boxer, I could understand what was going on. One guy was just being outclassed and overmatched, and no one expected that. Because no one expected that, they immediately threw that fight out the window as if it wasn't a great fight. I honestly thought it was a great fight, but I'm a boxing fan and I'm a boxer, you know. I think that this fight has more to offer than that fight had. You know, you got just two contrasted styles that are great. You got two young fighters that are hungry, who need the win. You got me with the energy. You know what kind of energy I'm bringing. It doesn't matter who I'm in the ring with, that energy will be there. You know, I've said this before, man. I don't condone boos. When I'm in the ring, you will not boo me. You know, I was at the MGM when those guys fought, and there were a couple boos, and I'm like, why are these guys booing? This is a great fight, you know. But at the same time, man, I think this fight will be that great that you will remember this for a long time.
Shawn, I'm excited.
This later.
Go ahead.
How much has his style evolved since you watched him growing up in the amateurs?
A lot. He and I think he still has that Cincinnati swag, that Cincinnati slickness. You know, growing up, he was more of a mover, puncher. Even when he first turned pro, was a little bit the same. But as you grow, the rounds get longer. You have to kind of find yourself. He settled down into more of a Floyd Mayweather type of style of, you know, picking his shots, using his shoulder roll, countering a guy, you know, and taking his time and being more precise with his punches, you know. So, I mean, I have to push the action just to make him uncomfortable.
And as for yourself, your own style, your own evolution of your career from the amateurs, would you still say you fight primarily in the same style, or have you adjusted your style?
I actually do fight a lot of the same way that I fought in the amateurs. I think, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, you know. And I think what we've done up to this point, before we turned pro, was just the right way to do things, you know. And, you know, as we turned pro, 4 rounds was the same, and as we started to progress 6, 8, 10 rounds and overwhelm guys with the speed and the quickness and the power that they don't normally see from a professional fighter, we've been able to match that with, you know, the workouts to build my body up to be able to put out that kind of energy and pressure and all that kind of stuff. So my boxing style is a lot of the same way as it was in the amateur.
Can we see a stoppage in this fight? The way you guys are talking about fight, do you think we can see a stoppage in this fight?
I think so. You know, you take a look at what Marcos Maidana did to him. I'm just a better boxer than Marcos. No disrespect to him, but I just have a lot more in my arsenal. You know, Marcos overwhelmed him with power and grit and might and all that kind of stuff. I have all that, but I also have speed. I can hit Adrien from the outside. I can set things up. My boxing IQ is up there. I'm going to do everything that it takes to get a stoppage, man.
It seems in many ways, the way that you talk about Broner, like from your amateur days and knowing him, it's almost like you talk about him like a younger brother that he's been behind. Do you think there's any danger that you might underestimate him?
Well, if you look at it like this, you can't let the little brother creep up on you, man. That's when they get you. I got 2 older brothers and they still don't let me. I've been world champion and everything, and they still don't. So I've learned all the right and wrong things from my big brothers, you know. So I would really wouldn't say this is a little brother versus big brother type of match, but you know, he's a few years younger than me. He's obviously smaller than me, you know. So I'm not gonna let the little brother do what he thinks he wants to do.
Shawn, I'm excited and intrigued with this matchup. However, I'm not too keen on the catchweight of 144 pounds because you did say you fought as was a super middleweight in the amateurs. You turned pro as a junior middleweight. When we spoke to Adrien Broner, he did not want to elaborate on the catchweight of 144. Why did you agree to these terms?
And that was his decision. I don't know why he won't elaborate on it or anything like that, but that was what he wants. So, you know, well, he's a little spoiled. Gets what he wants. Hey, it is what it is. My job is to make 144 pounds, be strong doing it. We've been disciplined this whole camp. We got a little bit more than a week left. We will be ready to roll.
I mean, the biggest question is, can you make 144 comfortably and be strong on fight night?
Yeah, no problem. Why not? Why not? Why not?
Shawn,
Do what I have to do.
when you were 11-0, you sparred Manny Pacquiao and you did more than hold your own. How did that experience help you, and what did you pick up from Manny back then?
Yeah, I mean, it just lets me know that I was doing the right things then. I'm still doing those things, and I'll be ready for this fight.
How tough is this fight compared to all? You've been in with some big names, obviously. How tough are you anticipating this Broner fight to be compared to the other ones you've been in?
Oh, tough. The toughest. The toughest. This is, you know, I think prior to him, I think, you know, Kell Brook, I made that fight a lot tougher on myself than it needed to be. After that becomes, you know, Devin Alexander, and I handled Devin Alexander pretty well. So, and Devin is a slick boxer, likes to outbox his guys. I didn't let him get comfortable, so that's part of the game plan, man. Can't let nobody be comfortable.
Shawn, what's one aspect about Adrien Broner's game that you think could potentially give you a problem?
I think more than anything is speed. He's got speed. Kid is fast. He's fast.
Who's faster, you or him?
Shawn,
We'll see
Adrien
June
is so
20.
subtle in his answer and his advice about you, saying, I could sit well and see like that. You know, I got the best part of all of the sparring.
Oh.
So, and you're a kind person, obviously, but I mean, and he said that it couldn't really, the sparring isn't really gonna.
No, the sparring doesn't tell what's going to happen in the fight, and you know that was 2011, 2012 when we sparred with one another. If he remembers that and he remembers getting the best of me, that's cute. You know, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
Do you feel? I'm sorry. Do you feel victory over Broner will catapult you to the Mayweather sweepstakes?
It has to. It has to. It has to. Obviously, they have similar styles, which you know people will look at that and say, if this kid beat Adrien Broner in the fights just like Floyd Mayweather, he should be able to beat Floyd Mayweather. It's my job to make that come true. Make all that happen. You know, put it down the way I'm supposed to, the way my corner tells me to, June 20th, and then we'll move on from there.
It's a fight that fans cannot miss. Explosive.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
Do you think every guy?
Do you really think Adrien fights like Mayweather, or tries to fight like Mayweather?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. Yeah, a lot of similarities.
Why isn't he as successful as Mayweather?
Well, that Marcos Maidana fight kind of really pushed him to the back, you know. And then, you know, he lives his own life, and that's his own career. I don't care about that. All I care about is him getting in the ring June 20th.
So would you say his life outside the ring has affected his ability?
It could be. I don't. Again, man, that's his career, his life. I don't care.
Your life outside the ring says a lot about who you are.
Yeah, I think so. I think I can speak on that. I think that a boxer, how you prepare yourself for a match and how you carry yourself outside of the boxing ring and the gym dictates how you perform in and out of the ring, you know. So my dad has always taught me to be professional at all times, and you know, that's what I try to do.
Who's that one fighter you've always looked up to?
One fighter I've always looked up to, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. That's my guy.
Why you carry and dress like that, huh?
I love dressing like this, man. I love the suits. I have fun wearing these suits. I look good in them. I'm comfortable in them, and yeah.
Shawn, have you thought about fighting Floyd in your head? I mean, do you think every guy at 147 has had that thought watching the fight? Have you thought about that for?
Yeah, that's one of those fights. You know, I'll tell you guys this. Before this fight was announced, I didn't know exactly who I was going to be fighting. So when I'm training, I can't just go through the motions. I can't just do it because it becomes boring. It becomes, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be here, you know. So one thing for me, myself, what I do is, you know, if I'm hitting the bag, I'm visualizing the fighter. If I'm running, I'm visualizing who I'm fighting, how the fight's going, all that kind of stuff. So I visualize, you know, everybody, even including Floyd Mayweather, prior to this fight being announced.
Even in your mind, is that a tough task?
Yeah. All of them. Believe it or not, all of them are tough tasks. And then I immediately try to figure out what I would do to to offset that or make it easier or defend that or whatever, you know. So I play with myself mentally, and that's how I get myself ready.
You had a high-profile fight against Cobra. What did you learn more about yourself from that fight?
I learned that you know, I was focused. I did everything that it took to be there and, you know, be prepared for that fight and everything. I think I lost myself during the fight. I didn't keep the right head on. I didn't listen to the corner as much as I should have. I didn't, you know, in some respects, stay focused to the game plan and what was being asked. I kind of got ahead of myself, you know. So I know what that feels like now. That's the great part about it is, you know, you sense something like that and you immediately can, you know, stop it.
Shawn, you do a lot of stuff in the community. I remember you went and handed out food to the homeless. You give back. What have you been up to lately with that? You do anything new?
I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do after this fight. That's so funny that you asked me. They have the Special Olympics going on here in LA. I just saw the commercial in July, I believe. You know, I'm gonna see if I can get involved with that.
You were saying, like with your other fight, that what happened was you weren't listening to the corner as much and everything. What is that something like? Because some people, you know, it's very good for them when their coach is their father, and others, you know, then their problems, like maybe like things get in the way, like you don't listen as well as you might if it was someone who wasn't related to you.
I don't really think that was not that played it has no significance in how and why I performed the way I performed in that fight. I think it was just a simple case of me saying, if I hit this guy, he's gonna go down. Gotta get him, gotta get him, gotta get him. And with the gotta get him mentality, I lost my corner. You know what I'm saying? And so I learned from that. I understand it.
Shawn,
thank you. If the final's in, are you going to send an invitation to LeBron James to come to the fight?
Yeah, so that invitation has already been extended, and it'd be cool if he showed up. If not, you know, I like I told my guys, I'll catch him on the back end. You know, after the fight, maybe we'll both be in a parade together.
You guys are from the same city, right?
Yeah.
You have a special connection with him?
No. We have some mutual friends. But that's about it. I've actually never met the guy yet, you know. So, hey, after this fight, maybe I'll go knock on his door. I know exactly where he lives. I do.
So, all anyone like Adrien, what's different?
Say that again.
You've never fought anyone like Adrien. So
no, I have. I fought guys. You know, what you guys don't see on TV doesn't mean everything. You know, I fought in England, I fought in Brazil, I fought in Venezuela, I fought all around the world. I've seen it all, you know. So if you're asking what makes Adrien Broner different, he's got speed, he's got quickness, he's got it all. But you know, it's nothing that I haven't seen and nothing that I've never been against.
And I really want strength and conditioning coach. Everyone has one. Right here.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
This is my strength and conditioning coach, Larry Wade. He also acts as my bodyguard, and
the double.
And he is Kenny Porter when Kenny Porter is not around. So, any more disrespectful questions like that, you're gonna have to answer to him.
Shawn, with all these comparisons and similarities of Adrien Broner and Floyd Mayweather, is this the right fight to prepare you for Floyd Mayweather?
I think it's a fight to get me on that track, on that way. You know, I don't think that, you know, this guy, he's flat out not Floyd Mayweather. You know, I haven't, you know, even though I've watched Floyd, I've studied Floyd. Now it's not the time to study Floyd. Now it's the time to continue to study Adrien Broner and be ready for him. But I do think that this is a fight that could get me on the track to fighting someone like Floyd Mayweather.
Did y'all sign a peace treaty not to talk trash?
No, man. Look, you know me. This is me.
I know.
That's it. He feels the way he feels. You know, he respects me, and I appreciate that. That's a blessing. You know, he doesn't give that respect to everyone, and you know, I think that's just a testament to who I am, and he recognizes who I am, and you know, what I'm gonna do.
Maybe that answers what happened in the sparring sessions.
What do you?
I don't know.
Shawn, is this PBC? Is this the biggest stage you've ever fallen at this point in your career?
Yeah, this will be, and I'm excited for it, man. This is great, man. And my dad and I were talking about this earlier. I'm made for this, and I love it. That's the great part about it. If you get in the ring or you get in the lights and you're not comfortable with it, or you're not familiar with it, or you don't like it, then something might give, you know. So good thing for me is I love it, and I'm ready for it.
think it was a show of respect that he actually made you come down to 144 instead of having to fight you at 147? Even though
I think more than anything, he's just looking for every advantage he can get, and you know, I can't hate him for it. If I was getting in the ring with me, I'd try to figure something out too.
What's your weight at right now?
150 today. 150 today. We put in some work this morning right before we got on the plane, just so that we can come out here and just relax and chill. And man, another week, and y'all, you know, the funny thing is I'm not concerned with the weight. I'm concerned with the fight, you know. And that's what you want as a fighter. You don't want anything holding you back. You don't want anything getting in the way of the training sessions or anything like that. So you heard it right here, man. I'm happy. I'm excited, and I will be ready.
June 20th, NBC, Adrien Broner, Shawn Porter, your prediction?
No prediction, man. You know that. You know that. But you know that I'm fully confident in myself and my team, and I expect to lead that ring with the win.
Shawn, before NBC boxing came back on NBC, do you recall a last fight you watched on NBC?
No.
Growing up?
No.
CBS, NBC?
No, I can't. No. You know, prior to this, you know, it's all HBO, ESPN, and Showtime, and then, you know, there were the tapes. You know, so my dad showed me tapes of everyone, and you know, I'm excited for this opportunity. This is big for boxing, and this is gonna be great for us.
Do you anticipate Broner adopting some of Kell Brook's tactics, like holding up close and stand behind the jab?
Yes.
What's your solution?
Yes. Fix it. Do it better than I did it before. You know, I was able to rough up Kell Brook, but I didn't do a good enough job at that. You know, we've been working on some things in the ring, in the gym, with some different holding techniques of getting out and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be ready for it.
In your last fight, you got off to a slow start. Was that because of the late change in opponent, or was it the ring rust involved in that?
No, I would say it was the change in the opponent. You know, we took a look at him just a little bit prior to the fight, but we didn't get much. So we did want to just come out, establish the jab, the feints, see what he's going to do, and then go from there. And my dad, that game plan worked very well for us.
I think if you win on Saturday, do you party Saturday night or do you go to church Sunday morning?
Ha! Easy. That's easy. Do I even need to answer that? I know exactly what's gonna happen after the fight. We'll do the post-fight conference. We'll go back either home or to a restaurant. We'll have dinner. I have a lot of friends and family around. That's what I love, sharing my victory and sharing my life with my family and friends. Sunday we'll be in church, and Sunday afternoon we'll be enjoying Father's Day back home, and hopefully we'll get Pastor Randall at the house.
Thanks, Jeff.
You got it. Thank you.
What changes have you made since you lost to Pacquiao?
I really wouldn't say no big major drastic changes. Just doing the right things. That's it.
I saw that you were sparring with Paul Spadafore. Tell me a little bit how it is to spar a former champion like Paul Spadafore.
I was good. My dad was working with Paul, trying to get him back in the ring. That didn't work out. You know, he would come in the back end of my training sessions to, you know, if I was at round 10, he'd give me 11 and 12, or if I was at 12, he'd give me 13 and 14. You know, just to, you know, help him and, you know, also push me, you know, where I needed to be as well.
Hank Landy is also preparing you for this fight.
Yeah, man.
Prepared him against Manny.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what Landy brings to his fight.
Hank is a fighter. Hank is from Philadelphia, and he lets you know it. You know, you see it in his style of boxing and also his style outside of the ring. You know, he's a great guy. He's been great to us, and he's helped us tremendously with however many rounds we need. He gives them to us, and he's been there the whole way. My dad always brings in the best guys for us to go. Yeah, and he brought in one of the best guys we've had in camp with us.
Would you say that you have a good idea in your mind on how to go about beating Broner, being that you guys grew up through the amateur ranks and know each other very well?
I don't think so. I'm not going back to that far. I am going back a little ways in his career, you know, looking at what he did, what he can do. But I think more than anything, my dad's game plan will be what gets the job done.
Do you think Broner's outside ring antics, like the runners with the law and the little thing he had with during the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, do you think those will affect his performance?
You know what? I think at some point all that stuff shows up in your life for a fighter. unfortunate, but it could show up in the fight. I'm not expecting that to show up in the fight, and that holds him back. I expected him to be the greatest he's ever been in the ring with me.
You know, Broner said kind words about you when he was up there at the podium. He didn't have anything bad to say about you. Usually he has a mental game that he likes to get. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I was prepared for that, you know, long ago. You know, just watching and seeing the way he talks with the things he does, you know. So I know what he's capable of, you know. A few words, you know, during the face-off or whatever, doesn't bother me.
What did he say to you?
Doesn't matter.
So if he does decide to go that way, back talking, back and forth, are you gonna embrace that, or just gonna let him?
My only job is to punch him in the mouth. My job is not to retaliate to anything he says outside of the ring, anything he does outside of the ring. My job is to get in the ring and retaliate to what he's doing, and do what we can do to get the win.
It's a must-win situation for both of you.
It's always a must-win situation for whoever you're in the ring with. You know, I was getting in the ring with Roberto Garcia. It was a must-win for him, and it was a must-win for me. It ended up being Adrien Broner. Same thing. Have to win no matter what.
How important was the catchweight in order to make this fight happen?
I think it was important. I don't know for sure, but I don't think if we agreed to it, this fight would be happening.
So you think that he might be scared to fight you at 147?
I don't know if he's scared or if he feels that, you know, it's gonna help him or whatever. My job is to make 144 and be ready for the fight.
You haven't fought at 140 in a while. Do you think that's going to affect you come fight night?
I don't think so. I know it's not. I know it's not because you know, our rehydration protocol and all that good stuff. It works for us, and we'll be fine.